Oh no, I'm so excited.
You're gonna cry.
Okay, ready? Everything. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, and welcome to another Rochelle channel video thing.
Guys, I'm well good at this.
I'm so good at this.
So, hey everyone, this is Georgia, and she is my friend from uni, and she also lives in Peterborough.
I live in Peterborough.
So, I feel like she's my sister, but she's white, so she's not my sister.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're a different colour skin. We're talking about mental health.
So we're going to do like a mini-series, so like, we're going to film a few videos, and then like release them once a week, for a few weeks, and it's something that's very close to my heart and Georgia's heart.
Yeah.
Head.
And heart.
That would work better. That would
Oh
work
my
better.
god,
Head.
both. Head and heart.
Head and heart.
Head and heart. Mind and body. Oh my
And
god.
soul.
Amazing. Well, guys.
So, Georgia does blogs.
Edit that bit out because I just did a really horrible face. I was like,
No, keep it in, it's fine.
oh
Everyone
my
loves
god,
jokes.
annoying.
So Georgia has a blog, and she writes about like mental health.
Yeah.
And her last post was on suicide, which we're going to cover in one of the videos. I will leave the link to her blog in the link below. And also, on the note of mental health and Georgia's blog, she is going to Bali next year to do a mental health placement. Do you want to tell them some more about that?
Yeah. So you can research a bit about it yourselves as well if you want to know what it actually is. It's on the SLV Global website. Just type it into Google and it will come up. And basically, I'm paying to go and work in Bali. So it's not like a holiday. I mean, obviously it'll be amazing, but it's not like a holiday. And just sort of like to help with mental health in Bali, because there's only one psychiatric hospital there, and so I will be visiting that and trying to help, depending on what the SLV Global team provide me with and train me with, because they lead it and then I just volunteer. So yeah. So
what do you need my fans to do for you?
I need you guys, my fans. Your fans are now my fans. But yeah. If you can donate, that would be really cool.
I shall also leave the link in under the blog thing.
Yeah. Or just like share it on your social media or whatever you can do.
Yeah, because if you
get the word out.
Yeah, if you like, I think what is it like? If you click on the link and shop, if you want to buy something like shopping.
And then the company that you shop with donates to me instead of you donating to me. So like if you order from Pizza Hut, go through my link and buy your pizza through my link. Or anything, but we were just talking about Pizza Hut, so that's why
it's in my head.
It's
fresh.
in my head, yeah. Fresh, like the pizza at Pizza Hut.
If you like this video, please leave a
thumbs up, bitches.
And if you want to see more on my channel, please
subscribe to the channel.
And what do I want my fans to do with my videos?
Share it, I'm guessing.
Brilliant.
Share it, watch it, Oz.
We don't want this to be, like, we've been discussing it, and like, we don't want this to be, like, although it's a serious matter, we don't want it to be like a formal. As you can see, we don't want it to be formal.
Yeah.
We're kind of just rambling and talking, and I'm still doing it now. And we kind of just want it to be like spread the word and like not even spread the word, like just raise awareness.
Yes.
Because we feel like a lot more stuff about mental health is coming out.
True. And
that's the whole reason I actually started my channel. And I think it's the reason you started your blog, isn't it, as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's something quite important to both of us, and I wanted to do this for a while, so here it is. Right.
Every time you go like that, I go to look behind me, and you're like, here it is, and I'm like, whoa, what? Today we are kind of defining mental health, talking a bit about the disorders associated with mental health. Yeah.
When we were researching to do this video, we were kind of like, ourselves, we didn't know what mental health really was, because there's no definition for it, in our opinions.
In terms of like an actual definition, it's hard to actually like you can't like look in a dictionary and be like, oh, what is mental health? And I think for us it's like especially hard, but because we study psychology at degree, we kind of like know the kind of scientific definitions of different disorders, but I think they're quite different to how they're actually perceived in society and in terms of like personalities. Obviously all of our personalities are different, and what mental health means to one person, it doesn't mean the same thing to another person, and I think that's what science tends to miss out. So this is like a mix, a definition mixed of like actual like people and science.
Google, reliable source. Google. Mental health is the definition for mental health is a person's condition with regard to psychological and emotional well-being, and like I said, it's like a good umbrella term for all the definitions that are likely to be put under it.
Yeah.
So like your definition of mental health might be different to what mine is to what George's is.
Yeah. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's completely fine.
There's no need to define it.
Yeah. I always say this, like people like always come to me and I say this, like people always come to me. But like when people come to me, they tell me that they're feeling down or whatever, like, they read my blog and then they message me and they're like, oh, I'm feeling a bit down today and I don't know why. And there's always this emphasis on why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling like this? And it's like, of course you want to know why. And if you notice something that triggers you, then that's fair enough because you can avoid it in the future or deal with it or whatever. But I think often people are like, why? I've got to get to the kind of fundamentals of what's this happening, why is it happening? Well, actually, that's not really helping you in that moment. So I think sometimes the biggest thing I say to people is don't worry about that. Don't worry about labelling it. You don't have to, if you're feeling shit, you don't have to be like, I'm anxious or I feel depressed right now. Let's just say you're feeling shit and then we try and make you feel better. And then after the fact, we'll be like, right, let's think about why that happened. Do you know what I mean? And it's not the biggest thing, but I think it helps in terms of awareness and acceptance. And also to know that you're not like a weirdo.
I think that's a lot of the problem that people have with mental health. Like, a lot of people don't actually know what it is.
Yeah.
So they can't really do anything about it.
Yeah. It's like, I always hate the phrase, like, it's okay not to be okay. And it's completely okay not to be okay. But it's also okay not to know if you're okay. Not to know what okay is. Like, that's fine as well. And I think it misses that out.
Yeah.
I feel like we're, like, on the playground. You know when you used to be on the playground and you'd be like, pancake.
In A-level psychology,
Yes.
there were 3 definitions of abnormality. It's deviation from social norms.
That's the word.
But with all these definitions, there's always like strengths and limitations. Hence, why it's not a definite definition.
Like with that one, like you get like a brand of psychologists called like humanistic psychologists, which if you do A-level psychology, you probably slate them all the time. But I actually quite like them, not in terms of therapy, but in terms of their theories. I think they're quite good. But like in terms of like social norms and all of that. And it's just like, well, actually, some humanistic psychologists would say that mental health is just like an ideology formed by society to, assert control over individuals and stuff like that. So that's quite interesting, which I guess is true on some level, because like if you flag up that you have a mental health issue, you're then sort of told how to make yourself better, but actually you probably would want to get better anyway. But I know I did when I struggled with mental health. So it's like, is it bad control? Like, is it actually bad control to make people not depressed or not anxious, or to help them with like schizophrenic symptoms? Interesting. So it's like, it could be a social construct to like make control over individuals, but then would that even be a bad thing anyway if that control is to, I mean, obviously people can abuse it. They can abuse the control and sort of like, because there's social norms like not talking in a doctor's surgery when it's really quiet. And I think...
Yeah, but some of them are like stupid. They're like...
Exactly, that's
not talking
stupid.
in the cinema or not using your phone in the cinema. Some of the examples that come under that definition of those, but can
you
you really...
use your phone in the cinema and then you get told that you're mentally ill. That's probably
it's
a
got
wrong...
no correlation.
Yeah, it's a wrong kind of control.
Hence why there's limitations to that one.
Yeah.
Strengths of it are like social norms, as in like maybe you're on a bus and you're touching someone up.
Yeah. Or like brushing your teeth in the morning. Is that a social norm or a health thing?
Well, the second one was deviation from ideal mental health.
Yeah.
And that's like, I don't know how to do this. I've not done this in like 2 years.
Ideal mental health, yeah. So ideal mental health is sort of like your ability to adapt to change, personal autonomy,
But that's what it is, yeah.
What else is there? I can't even remember.
There was Jehoda's 6 criteria. Jehoda's 6 criteria, that's it.
Jehoda. I think I named 2 out of 6.
Okay, so deviation from ideal mental health. According to Jehoda 1958, it's more useful to find abnormality in terms of understanding what is normal behaviour rather than abnormal.
Yes.
So Jehoda listed 6
but
characteristics.
What is normal behaviour?
Of
I hate the word
mental health.
normal. Stress.
So like you got
Normal.
being in touch with your own identity and
Yes.
feelings.
I agree with that one. I very much agree with that one.
Being resistant to stress.
See, I don't agree with that one. If that one was true, then we'd all be mentally ill.
Exactly.
And that's just not true, is it? Not everyone's mentally
Like you're
ill.
not. If you're really stressed, that doesn't make you mentally ill.
No, that just means you're stressed. I mean, no.
Focused on future and self-actualization. That's a limitation.
See,
though.
I find that one really weird though. Like focus on the future, because mindfulness makes you focus on the now and the present, and that's how it calms you down. So I find it weird that there's an actual intervention for mental health that makes you focus on the present and like your current situation, but then actually a violation of ideal mental health is to not consider the future. So it's like, where do we draw the line? Like, is there a cut-off point? How do we define that? Because it's like mindfulness isn't. Do you know what I mean?
There's also like
weird.
the next one says function as an autonomous individual and recognise their own needs.
I love the word autonomous.
And then there's 2 more. There's have an accurate perception of reality and neither be overly pessimistic or overly optimistic. And then the last one is be able to master the environment, adapt to change. But I don't know. Like there's some the limitations of this definition are like the one we said about self-actualization being like not everyone can do that. So not being able to do it makes you mentally ill.
It's kind of like if you had to like violate every single one of these sort of like specifications of what ideal mental health was, then yeah, sure, I think they're good. But if it means that you just like violate one, then every single person in the world would be mentally ill. Like everyone. And that's just not feasible, is it?
No.
It's just not true. Because if that was the case, then there would be no stigma.
One of the points that I've mentioned here about limitation is the fact that self-actualization, personal autonomy, and relevant recognising one's own need, they're all kind of westernized, individualistic cultures. To do with those non-Western and collectivist cultures. So for those people who don't know what collectivist, individualistic are, individualistic cultures are kind of like UK, US, where people are focused on their own individual self, like making their work better, gaining money, and like a lot of non-Western societies are collectivist, where societies work as a group and work together.
Like work for their family.
Yeah.
And things like
if
that.
you like look at it, it's like in our society is quite selfish and we're quite self-centered.
Yeah.
And like those kind of societies, like for example India, China, they're all collectivist.
Society.
Yeah. That like work for the greater good of the whole place.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it is kind of an old term though, like because it used to be
an old term,
like villages and things. A lot of like.
But it's interesting that you say about culture because I did an interview with a counsellor for my EPQ back in the day.
I was going to do an EPQ
2 years ago. But yeah, and one of the things that she mentioned was that some mental illnesses are very culturally specific. So things like schizophrenia, which here if you have schizophrenia in like a Western culture would probably be seen as quite a big issue. It doesn't mean that you're dangerous in any way. That's like my biggest pet peeve is when people say that people with mental health are dangerous. That's not true. But yeah, but in terms of like your ability to do the normal, I hate that word, the sort of like expected things of day-to-day life, it does limit you in terms of that. But in some cultures that aren't Western, they see schizophrenia as being able to contact another world. So they don't see it as sort of like an abnormality or an illness or a disorder. They see it more as some sort of gift where you can connect with spirits and talk to another world. And they almost see it as if you can like talk to like people that have passed on and things.
There's like a lot of negative like stigma on it's all just negative here, like
so
in like
negative.
our society it's all negative, like that's bad, that's not good for you, and
bad.
so there it's like maybe an advantage to the person.
Yeah.
I think it might be to do with like education and stuff like that.
For sure. But I don't feel like if we took that perspective, that person wouldn't be able to actually cope in our society. I think as societies go, their day-to-day life would be very different to ours, and therefore that perception of mental illness is probably very like feasible and applicable for their society, whereas for ours it probably wouldn't be. Because I would say that our society is very much get things done, go, 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 go. Like you see people like running in the street because they just want to like, I don't know, walk somewhere really quick. Whereas,
running in the street to walk somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah. So I think it would be different.
So the final one is the failure to function adequately. I never understood this definition, even when I was revising A-levels.
Yeah.
So it says here, Rosenhan and Seligman, 1989, suggested that psychological abnormality should be defined as a range of characteristics that suggest a person is failing to function adequately in their daily life. Oh no, I did get this one. It's like, for example, for the example that was used constantly was the...
is it the bed one? Getting out of bed?
Yeah, that one, and the work one.
Yes.
Getting to work on time, doing things, being organised. If you don't do those, you're mentally ill.
It's just ridiculous.
But I don't think
sometimes it depends.
I think we're over criticising.
Analysing, yeah. I just hate the whole definition thing. I really do. In my head, it's just like a person's unhappy. Let's sort it out. A person's happy. Just let them be. Like as long as it's not impacting other people, then just let them be. Like, I really don't understand why there's this sort of like need to be normal and this need to sort of do normal things in your normal day-to-day life. If you're happy and you're healthy and you're not impacting others and the people around you are happy and healthy, then do whatever the hell you're doing. Don't change it just because like written in the DSM it says that you have to. Like, as long as you're fine and everyone else is, then it's fine.
Or like, I don't know, I think it's a good thing that there isn't a definition.
Yes.
Because it's open, then it leads debate, but then again it's not, because for people who don't understand it, like layman,
lost.
Like layman means normal people.
Yeah.
They don't have a...
But layman's terms in layman's terms
are like dumbed down terms for people. I don't want to say that are stupid, but have less of an awareness of... Basically, people
imagine putting something in layman's terms and then the person not understanding what layman's terms is.
Tragic.
Okay, cut that out because we sound like horrible people.
It leads debate.
Yeah.
But I think we need like some sort of... Maybe that nice definition that I mentioned earlier, the umbrella one, is a good one for everyone to kind of have.
Yeah.
But
I think sometimes as well, if it's too discriminatory and the term's not an umbrella term and it's like what's the term? A specific term, like a specific term, then you're kind of closing the door off for people that need help.
Yeah.
So sometimes an umbrella term, it's like a massive hug, so that everyone can be hugged. Where it's like the arms are massive, yes, and you can hug everyone. Whereas if we had such a specific definition, there would be people that would be kind of like fall through the holes, and they wouldn't be able to be hugged. I love hugs. I'm gonna just scream out some myths. Schizophrenic. That was my mouth, not my
Oh my god, we forgot about
Remember that was from one of your first videos.
We forgot to talk about like specific.
That's what I was just gonna do.
Okay, so
in my myths,
George is gonna debunk some myths. Debunk some myths.
Sounds like sex.
She's gonna debunk some myths.
Yeah. So myth number 1 is that schizophrenic people are dangerous.
It's wrong.
They're not. It's wrong. I think it's something like 15% of the schizophrenic population
is very, very low.
Are in jail, something like that. And if you think that 1% of the population is schizophrenic, that's like maths I can't do, but it's absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
This is literally such a tiny. And I had someone come round my house once to install some sort of software.
Pardon me.
It's alright. better out than in. But yeah, someone come round my house to install some software onto my laptop, and he was talking about how his van was tracked, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really good. Is that for, like, in case someone steals your van? And he was like, yeah, but it's also because I go to people's houses. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Like, if you get lost or anything. He was like, no, I go and visit a lot of people with mental health. Triggered. I was like, you fucking mad. Is this guy serious? And I just sat there like, just like slowly move my medication for my mental health issues like off the table so he can't see them. And I was like, what a dickhead. He actually thought that his van was tracked because he went to people's houses and they might be mentally ill. I was so offended. It would be that, this one gets to me. Schizophrenic people is the same sort of like, basically people think that people that are schizophrenic have two personalities.
Split personality.
Yeah. So you've got dissociative identity disorder, which is renamed from multiple identity disorder, which is where a person disassociates from their current situation, and it's almost like they become another person, they have different attributes. And basically, if you're talking to someone with dissociative identity disorder, they would basically kind of look a bit confused and then kind of go off on a tangent. So you could be sort of like, for example, in this conversation now, if Rochelle started randomly talking about flowers, but in more of a sort of confused state, so not just like a thought provoked him to think of flowers and he started talking about it, it's like a genuine shift in perception rather than like just a change of subject, you know what I mean? So when a person disassociates, yeah, it kind of changes like that. Yeah, and that's not what schizophrenia is.
It's not split personality, it's a disconnection from reality, like they kind of distance themselves.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about how like
But they don't disassociate. So they don't dissociate from their current situation.
They kind of take a step back.
It's more like they're not fully aware of like reality,
yeah,
rather than dissociating with reality, if that makes sense.
We hope you have enjoyed Appendix 1.
Yeah.
Still love that name.
Love that name.
If you have any questions, please message me or message Georgia.
Yeah.
And Georgia said we'll put some helplines and our links below. I'll put a link to her blog below, and I'll put a link to her fundraising page below as well.
Yeah.
So go sponsor her. Go, my fans, go. My 40-odd fans.
40's better than 0.
Yeah, that's a good point. We guys, yeah. We hope you've enjoyed Appendix 1. We hope we've been knowledgeable and taught you something. And we've hoped we've cleared up some misconceptions.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope that we've made people feel that not worried about their mental health if they were stressed out about defining it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the biggest thing that I probably wanted to get out of this video.
Yeah.
Is to let people know, if you don't know what's wrong with you, that's fine.
We also don't want anyone to take this like the whole informal vibe of the video as a dig at like not mental health. We're not taking mental health seriously. Yeah. We just wanted to just be as relaxed as possible.
Yeah, we didn't want to be lecturing you guys.
Because my videos aren't about being stern, and although it's such an important topic and like something to discuss, we don't want to like make it boring.
No. If it was a lecture, you could just ask
no
your
one would watch
teacher
it.
Or read a book.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I think that concludes it.
Yeah. Stay happy, guys.
And we shall see.
Love yourself and everyone else. That is the way of a happy life.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in Appendix 2.
Yep.
Until then, bye.
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 This is so weird.